Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Speak Up MK with myself, Jamie, and Dom from Unit 9. We're very excited about today's episode. We've got a very special guest. We've just got one guest joining us today. Her name is Nancy, but you'll find out a little bit more about her very shortly.
We're really excited about Speak Up MK. The first episode went down a real storm with Tenny and Jack, and it's a real platform for the community at Milton Keynes, and especially the young people at the moment, to get their voice across, show the community what they're up to and how they're getting on through, at the moment through lockdown. Obviously, we're going to be talking about other things in the future, but right about now, let's get Nancy on. Hey there, welcome Nancy. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Really well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you on Speak Up MK today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off just by finding out a little bit more about you, Nancy. You've got a great story and loads to talk about, which we're excited about. So firstly, just tell everybody who's watching, who are you, where are you from, what you're up to, and how you've been.
I'm Nancy. I'm from Milton Keynes. I've not really been doing much at the moment, just on TikTok and trying to spread my story. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
And how old are you, Nancy?
I'm 16.
Fantastic.
16. So I think we should just start by saying we're in lockdown right now. How are you finding lockdown in general? What were you doing before? I assume you was in school. Obviously, we're in lockdown. How are you finding that? Are you still doing work, or are you avoiding that? Or
So I was in year 11, so I should be taking my GCSEs now. So obviously we're a bit stuck on what to do as we've finished school now. So yeah, before lockdown, I was revising for that, and then it just went into doing nothing. So I'm just trying to spend my time wisely, getting ready for next year and stuff like that.
And how's that working for you, Nancy? So what will happen now? Have you, in terms of your results, will you get your mock results? How's that going to work?
I actually have no idea. I think it's mock results and target grades. So a mixture and teachers. So not too sure.
And how were you feeling about taking your exams? Were you worried about them, or were you ready?
I feel like I was I would have been ready, but at the time, I was just revising, trying to get ready. But
is there a slight bit of relief that you're not?
Just about to ask the same question.
Definitely.
No, that's cool.
I remember that time in my life when we were about to take exams, and I actually didn't mind school. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I really liked the social aspect of school, but when it came to an exam, you did brick yourself a little bit, didn't you?
Definitely. Yeah.
What about you, Jay? Were you a cool customer, or did you?
We probably shouldn't talk too much about my school life.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan of school, really. I didn't mind it. I liked the social side of it, but I was much more of a hands-on person, as you probably know from working with me, rather than sit down and sit and focus. I like to physically do something rather than, tick a box in a piece of paper. So, yeah, I would have loved to exams being cancelled. I actually enjoyed the coursework part of exams more because it meant I had the freedom to do what I wanted to do rather than be told when and how, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what are you going on to do next then, Nancy? What is your sort of pathway now?
So I actually don't know. I've applied for a makeup course in Northampton because I was quite interested in doing that. But then I've also applied for a journalism course in Northampton. So I'm not too sure which one I'm going to do yet.
That's really cool. I'm going to go straight into talking about TikTok because they both kind of are part of what your TikTok journey has been. So for the people at home that don't know, Nancy is a very, very popular TikToker. Nancy, when did you start making TikTok videos?
Started making TikToks in December, I think. So quite recently.
So not very long at all.
No.
And how long ago was it that your account really started to blow up? I'm just going to put something onto the screen so people can see exactly what I'm talking about. There are 373,600 followers. And I came up with a little statistic that you'll probably laugh at. You got 15.4 million likes. That is more likes. So if every person liked your video, that is more likes than everybody in Wales, Scotland and Ireland put together.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. That is a very strong TikTok account. So how long has it been blowing up for? Has it been a few weeks or since lockdown? Or?
So it started in December. So I think my first video got 21,000 views. And then that was when I was like, okay, all right. And then I started, and for a few weeks it was like going up but quite slowly. And then I had, I think, 160,000 followers before lockdown. And then in the last 3 weeks, I was gaining 100K a week. So.
And is it still going up?
Mad.
It's going up now. It's slowing down, but like it was going up really quick, like crazy quick.
So educate me slightly, Nancy. I'm an older man, you know, and I've had, during lockdown, I've been bored, so I've had a go at TikTok. So one of my best videos, it got 1,700 views, which I was very, very happy about. Like I was ecstatic, over the moon. I mean, how does one go about creating content for TikTok? Is it complete? How do you do it? Is it completely random? Do you think about it? Do you plan it? Tell us how you go about planning your content, because, you know, for me, I really haven't got a clue.
So for me, on my TikTok, I go around the acting path of TikTok. So I think for me, I put in a lot of thinking about my videos, because you have to think what sounds you're going to use, what the storyline's going to be, things like that. But then sometimes people dance, people do comedy, like all different stuff. And then recently I was just trying to show people and like educate people on different like illnesses and stuff like that. Like myself, because obviously it changed very quickly from me looking like I do now to what happened a few weeks ago.
So let's just touch on that if we can. You have a condition that is completely unknown, I think, to science and the medical industry. I've got a couple of photos. Do you mind if I put the photos onto the screen?
That's fine.
So I'm going to put the photos up. If you can just explain, when did this start? What did you first notice about it? And yeah, where are you at with it? Is there anything changed, or is there any updates on what's going on?
Okay, so it started when I was 11, and it started on my lip, and that was it. And then as it like progressively got worse onto like different parts of my body, and then my face. And obviously at the start we were really confused. We just did not know what it was. They thought it might have been an allergy to something. So I had lots of tests, nothing came back about it. It just progressively got worse. And then I was in a stage where I did not have anything for like 2 years, I think, when I was like 14. And then it came back, and now it's never been as bad as it was the other week. I had it on my neck. My neck was covered. My whole face was covered. But like, yeah.
So it looks like bruising. Is that what it is?
It's blood clots, so it is bruising, but it's like blood underneath my skin that's trapped.
And how does that make you feel, Nancy? I mean, you know, do you get self-conscious about it? Do you know, how does that, obviously we're in lockdown, so clearly you can't go out that much except for your exercise. Well, that's changed now. But anyway, regardless, how does that make you feel? You know, are you really self-conscious about it, or have you really kind of learned to live with it?
Well, when it first started coming off on my face, I was very self-conscious, because obviously I was at school, I was in like year 8. No one was really mature. So everyone was like looking at me or asking questions. And then I feel the time it came up at school, everyone kind of came with me on the journey, because they didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. But going out and stuff, like before lockdown, I was very self-conscious, because obviously you don't see it every day. So people were like, did double take, like look twice and stuff. But I don't feel like I'm that self-conscious in it in myself. Like I've kind of learned to deal with it, and like I have like really supportive friends and family around me, and I just decided that I'd use my platform to like give awareness about it.
So on that point, obviously all over TikTok, hence where I got these photos from, you are on your videos, and there are videos of you whilst you've got these blood clots all over you.
Yeah.
Firstly, I think, one, well done, because not only are you raising awareness of this condition that nobody knows about, but there are so many people in society that are self-conscious about, but could just be even being overweight, for instance. You are saying that these people in your class, for instance, have gone on a journey with you, but you've also taken another 373,000 people on a journey with you. And from what I can see, everybody is supporting you, and you're hopefully taking a lot out of that, which is making you feel better. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I just decided that like I could have gone 2 ways about it. When it came up the other week, I could have stopped posting on TikTok for a while and then just started again when I was better, or I could show people that like it's okay to just show who you are, because I get a lot of messages and DMs about like people feeling self-conscious about all different things, and me showing it, I didn't expect it to go how it did. Like the amount of like nice messages I got, or the amount of messages people sending me saying they've got like their own problems they're dealing with, and like me showing my story has made them like feel a lot better about themselves. Really showed me like what, like I'm so happy I took that road about it.
Absolutely. I mean, you're such a young age, but such a huge role model as well. I mean, do you ever think about that in terms of, you have a huge amount of people that kind of follow you, and they're probably looking at what you're saying and how you say it and acting on that. So do you feel a sense of responsibility with that?
Definitely. I feel like since it started, I definitely have like matured a lot, because you have to, because I've seen a lot of people go different ways about different things, and like seeing like I want to be a good role model for the people that like support me and follow me, and I want to show them like the right path to take about stuff, and how to take things around like themselves and like make themselves a better person.
Well, at the moment, obviously, mental health is a huge issue because we're all in lockdown and people are trapped at home, they're stuck. You start to overthink, it creates more problems, and there is just a lot more mental health issues. Now, I'm assuming this one gives you something to be excited about when you wake up in the morning, because you're seeing how many people are looking at your videos, the positive comments. Do you think that this doing TikTok and this happening, ignoring the fact you're helping so many people, personally, do you think it's helped your mental state in terms of coping with this illness, this disease, whatever? We don't even know what it is, do we? But has it really helped you? And do you think it's going to continue to help you through the whole of lockdown and for being in the future?
Yeah, I definitely think it's helped me. With like my mental state and stuff, it showed me that like good things can come out of bad situations and things like that. And even just waking up and seeing like my messages from people saying that I'm making them happy and I'm like making them a better person really motivates me to like carry on doing what I'm doing. But yeah, I definitely think it's helping me through lockdown. And even before lockdown, I was much happier than when I didn't do it.
That's really Nancy. Do you get any negative comments? Obviously, you must get a huge amount of positive comments, but do you get negative comments? And if you do, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I really like before lockdown and before my face got bad again, because I didn't really show it before that. I didn't really get any negative comments, and then when it came up, I'd like post a video about it, and people would be like, "Why is she posting it on TikTok?" Like just negative comments. And the way I dealt with it is I just didn't really. There'd be like 100 positive comments and then 3 negative comments. So I just looked at the positive ones, I deleted the negative ones, and then just moved on. It didn't really bother me.
It's obviously really hard, to deal with negative comments, because even though you can be positive and you can tell everyone, they don't really bother me. They do sit in there, and you question why people have to do it. From my personal opinion, and you'll probably both agree, those that are writing those negative comments, they probably have some sort of issue themselves that they're not quite happy with, which is why they then go and troll on the internet. We were talking about TikTok before. So before we had you on, we were talking about how social media is an amazing tool right now. Before the coronavirus, there was always a 50-50. It's brilliant for some things, but it's really negative for other things. Actually, do you know what? I think during this pandemic, I would say 90% of social media right now is amazing compared to whereas before it could have been 50-50. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I also agree with the fact that you said that people who are trolling have something going on themselves. Like, it's not nice. There was one comment that I saw, and I looked on her profile, and she had like 100,000 followers herself. So I just thought her following base could see that comment on my video, and they could then take that like, oh, she's done it, I'll do it. So I messaged her, and I was just like, because I think her comment said, why do I feel like this is makeup and she's acting, or something like that. And then she said, it's just ridiculous or something. So I messaged her, I was like, I just wanted to let you know it's not. And I think you're setting quite a bad example for your following if they're seeing you're commenting that on my post or other people's posts. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it that like impact you that much. Like, I apologize, things like that. But I just thought, just think before you say it.
You know what, Nancy? That's such a mature thing to do, because one, you could have just ignored it, which probably a lot of people would have done, but actually to go back to her and kind of bring her up on what she's done, that'll teach her a huge lesson, and hopefully, that means she might not do it again in the future. So it's really mature thing to be able to do to someone.
Thank you.
A lot of it is also education, isn't it? So it's about educating people on the unknown. It's the same as, there's so many illnesses and diseases and disabilities out there. If someone walks towards you in the street and they look different to the norm, it is natural for people to look and to question. But it all comes down to education. And we know, even since I was young, like in school, over time, even autism, like, when I was younger, I don't really remember seeing children in my class that were autistic to the level that they maybe are now. But now kids in school, they don't bat an eyelid. It's normal. Like, we're all different. We all have our own characteristics, and people are a lot more accepting now. The issue is there will always be negative people because they're either jealous, they're either got problems themselves. But by doing what you've done, by educating, you're giving them not only a chance to redeem themselves, but also to inspire them to then hopefully go and educate other people, especially when she has 100,000 followers herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just what I want to do. I want to educate people that although people might not look like what society thinks is normal, that it doesn't make them a different person. And like, for me, it's not there all the time. And that's what I think confused a lot of people. People were like, oh, it's not real because it's not there all the time. And that's why I showed in one of my videos, I showed it coming up. I think I videoed it every 10 minutes or something. And I was just showing people this is how quickly, for me, my appearance can change. Like, I could have things planned for the next day and then have to cancel it because my face has come up. But then I thought, no, why should I? This is me. Why should I have to change my daily routine because of it?
So has your outlook changed since so you said the first signs of it was about 11 years old on your lips, and then it just progressed and it got everywhere. So, obviously 11 years old is such an impressionable age. That must have changed your complete outlook on life at that age, but you've clearly learned to live with it. So how have you coped throughout your, these really key years in your growing up? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, well, since I was 11 till about 15, I think my outlook on it was very negative. If it came up, I didn't go into school. I wouldn't go places. And that's not because people would say stuff. It's because I wouldn't feel confident in myself. And I was missing a lot of days of school. I'd have to go home from school quite a lot. And it is very painful. So also that aspect of it made it hard to deal with. But then I think in year 11, I realized I needed to knuckle down and stop missing days off because my lips come up or something. I needed to just battle through and go on with it. And then I started TikTok in December, and since then it just kind of made me realize that you've got to think positively of it and just go along with it.
Well, I think it's a very inspiring story, and this is only really the beginning of that journey, isn't it? Because it's only been a few months since you've really publicly been going out there, but I'm sure there'll be so much opportunity for you to educate people going forwards, whether it be online, whether it be in person. And hopefully your TikTok, from doing what you're doing, hopefully there's some reward from it as well. You've got so many followers. I'm sure there'll be a lot more things you'll be able to do to use social media in a positive way. So that's really, really good. I think what we should do is just touch on, in general now in lockdown. So you've used it really positively. You've been really productive, personally and for the rest of the world, essentially. 50 million likes, just to point that out again.
15.4, Jamie.
Crazy. How do you think people are coping? So people your age, what are people saying to you? Are your friends talking to you every day? Has anyone been sneakily meeting up? How do you think it's been going?
So for me, I know my friends haven't been meeting up. One, because I feel like my friends from school, quite a few of us have parents or relatives that are in the high risk sector, like my dad. So I can't meet up with people because I wouldn't want to put him in danger. And I feel like my friends from school, we all are quite mature in that sense. And my friends from TikTok, they haven't, because we've all kind of role models to people. So it'd just be selfish for us to go out and publicize it and stuff like that and say oh, it's okay when it's not. So for me, I don't really know anyone that has been going out and meeting up with people, but I know that people are, and I think it's really selfish because it's just going to last longer at the end of the day.
Agreed. So I suppose you answered the question that I was going to ask next, in that, do you think teenagers in general have taken the message seriously? So do you think that in some aspects they have, and do you know of aspects that they haven't?
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of people have. I think at the start of it, people thought, especially teenagers, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm fine. But then as soon as the virus got stronger and it started affecting people that had no underlying health conditions, had nothing wrong with them, they were young, whatever, I think then people were like, oh, I really need to start thinking seriously about this. And then I think a lot of teenagers decided it's time to stay home, be safe and stuff like that.
So at time of record, apologies. So at time of recording this, we had a message from our Prime Minister yesterday, Boris, about easing up on all of this lockdown stuff. Did you understand the message? Was it clear to you? Do you understand what's happening next? And two, how do you think that will affect now the coming months going forward?
I kind of understood it. I mean, I watched it with my family. I understood it slightly, but then I feel like a lot of people won't. I think a lot of people will take this as, if we're outside, if we're in a field or something, we can meet up, and people are going to think that it's okay to start meeting up with people. But I think it just needs to be made sure that they are taking the social distancing seriously.
100%. And I think it's always the urge, isn't it? If we've been told we're allowed to meet somebody in a public place, there is that urge to maybe hug them or to bring someone else along with you, because there's so many kind of gaps in it where, what if someone accidentally walks past and then you have a conversation with them as well? It's really hard for young people, especially. I was going to ask you, if I could click my fingers and end lockdown right this second, what is the first thing you want to go and do?
The first thing I'd want to do is definitely see my friends. I think I'd want to see my friends from TikTok first, because they live so far away from me. And during the lockdown, obviously, I think one event had to be cancelled or postponed. So I should have seen them a few weeks ago, but couldn't. So I think I'd see them, and definitely just see my friends and the family that I haven't seen for a long time. And
they've obviously been a big part of your life through this time as well, haven't they? It's not that you care about them more than the people locally. It's more the fact that they've really helped you.
Yeah, definitely. And before lockdown, I was seeing my friends from local every day at school and stuff. But my friends from online and stuff, I don't see them as often. So seeing them would be definitely be fun. But I want to see everyone at the end of the day.
So do you think that the lessons that you've learned through lockdown will affect your life, in the future? Or do you think that literally once this is over, bang, straight back to normal? How do you think that your life will change after this?
Well, I think I'm definitely going to be more careful, being close to people. I'm quite a huggy person. I think that's going to change. I don't want to get I think I've understood germs a lot more, stuff like that. It wasn't really a big deal before this, and now I'm quite scared about it.
So how many times do you sing Happy Birthday when you wash your hands, Nancy?
Oh, twice. I do get very paranoid about stuff like that now.
I bet you do, but also with your condition as well, because you don't know what it is, that would also, you were saying about your dad, you don't know what this condition is, hopefully, and I'm sure it will be some completely random thing that will sort itself out, hopefully. I'm going to be a doctor here, and it's going to cure itself, and it'll never come back again. But you don't know. So also that plays on your mind. You don't want to make something worse that you don't know about. So you've got to be careful.
And just on that note, Nancy, clearly you must be under the care of doctors and consultants and stuff like that. I assume you've not been able to see anyone during this time because of not being able to go to hospital, etc., or have appointments. But, do you have regular appointments about your condition? And what are the steps? What are they telling you? Do they feel like they're going to find out what it is?
So, yeah, for about 4 years, I was under Adam Brooks in Cambridge. We were going there every 2 weeks or something, every 3 weeks. Obviously quite a long drive. I was missing days of school. And then in October, they told me they've done everything they can. They're still clueless. They think what they're doing is pointless, and they were like, oh, well, you're either going to have to start again at the hospital in Milton Keynes, or you're going to have to find a different way about it. So obviously I was a bit confused. I was like, oh, I'm only 15, and they kind of told me like sort of a lost cause. They had no idea. But then we started again at Milton Keynes Hospital, and I'm under like the Saxon Clinic in Milton Keynes now. And I've had 2 appointments on the phone. One was yesterday, and the other was a few weeks before. They've gone through all my files there. They said they still have no idea what it is. They're ruling out more things than they're ruling in, which I guess is good, because we are like getting slimmer of what it could be or what it couldn't be.
Do you know what? Your condition is the same as the coronavirus. It's something new, and they have to eliminate everything along the way to find out what, basically they're taking in information every day, learning more about it. And the more you learn, the more you can develop to help get something sorted. The fact that you're maybe one of only, I don't know, millions, maybe there could be someone over the other side of the world, but no one else is known, I'm assuming, which is why they have no concept of what it is. But do you know what? You just got to keep fighting. And, the NHS, of course, they've done all they can. It's really hard if they don't know what else to do because they don't know what it is. But there will always be someone out there that is willing to help you learn more and hopefully either find a cure or just understand it more to help prevent it from happening again. So keep fighting that one.
Thank you.
Dom, I don't think there's much more to say. I just want to say, you will inspire people. Keep doing what you're doing on TikTok. Those days where you're down and you're feeling like, maybe it flares up and you're having a bit of a bad day. Of course that will happen. Just remind yourself that you have made a massive difference to like hundreds of thousands of people. So it's really important that you remember that. And I'm sure in the future, like you seem like you've got a really strong head on your shoulders and bright as well. So I'm sure you'll go far in whatever you choose to do.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Nancy. Don't stop, because that inspirational role model is needed, especially for young people. And to come from another young person like you, people will listen. So it's really important that you keep doing and stay on the pathway that you're on.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to talk to you, get to know you. The fact that you're based right here in Milton Keynes is good. Another inspiring person in Milton Keynes to send a positive message around the world. Pretty good, hey? And honestly, just keep doing it. And if we can help you in any way, then we'll 100% get behind you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 So that was Nancy. What an absolutely inspiring story. Such a young girl, but a really strong head on her shoulders. She's definitely going to go far in the future. And it's great to hear her story, how she's using social media in a really positive light and to help herself as well. So that was amazing to talk to her.
Absolutely. And what I find really exciting, Jay, is that, the preconception sometimes of social media is that it's bad. It's really bad, it's negative and whatever. And then you get Nancy, who's 16 years old, come on and has inspired hundreds of thousands of people, with her story. And I think that is commendable. And I really do hope that she carries on and she does continue to inspire people.
100%.
So this is Speak Up MK. We really want to continue to do this. So if you want to get involved, if you've got a story or if you create, if you are from Milton Keynes, of course, we are the voice of the community and we would love to hear from you.